The cold night on the alien moon felt like a long breath holding its fear in the air. Evan Cole, a human engineer from the deep space vessel Horizon Star, woke up inside a broken stone hall with dust falling from the ceiling. His head ached, his uniform was torn, and his emergency beacon blinked weakly beside him. The last thing he remembered was the violent explosion that ripped his ship apart during a surprise attack. Now he was alone, stranded, and surrounded by silence that felt almost alive. He stood slowly, listening. Nothing moved outside the cracked walls. No wind, no creatures, no voices, only the sound of his heartbeat echoed in the hollow space. Evan checked his tools, but most were damaged. He looked at the broken transmitter and sighed, knowing he had only a small chance to fix it before night creatures came out. He kneeled down to work, but then something changed in the air. A soft sound, like small feet touching the floor, came from behind him. Evan tensed instantly. He turned quickly, ready to defend himself with a metal pipe he picked up from the ground. But what he saw made his heart drop. A small alien child stood in the doorway. The child's skin glowed a pale blue, and his big eyes were full of fear and tears. He looked weak, hungry, and completely alone. Before Evan could speak, the child stepped forward, shaking. He grabbed Evan's hand with both of his tiny hands, and his voice cracked as he whispered, "Please, Mary, my mom, human. She's all I have left." Evan froze. The pipe slipped from his fingers and hit the floor with a soft clang. He stared at the child, confused, shocked, and unsure if this was some kind of misunderstanding. What? Evan asked softly, but the child shook his head quickly. "Please," he whispered again. "You must help us, or she will die." Fear filled the child's voice so deeply that Evan felt it in his bones. He crouched down to the child's level and touched his shoulder gently. "What's your name?" Evan asked, trying to calm him. The child blinked fast and wiped his tears with the back of his hand. "Leary," he said, his voice still trembling, "my mom is hurt. Hunters are looking for us. Please come, hunters." The word itself felt like a blade touching the air. Evan did not know this world, but he could hear the terror behind that one word. Leary kept looking back at the door as if something horrible could walk in at any moment. Evan realized this child was not lying. Something was truly hunting them. Still confused about the marriage request? He stood and took a breath. "All right, Leary," he said softly. "Take me to your mother." The child grabbed his hand tightly and pulled him toward the darkness outside. The alien moon was quiet and strange as they walked out. Tall crystal trees glowed faintly in blue and purple light. Evan looked around carefully, listening to every rustle. Leary kept walking fast, looking over his shoulder every few seconds. "Why were you alone?" Evan asked. Leary's eyes filled with pain. "They attacked our village," he whispered. "My father fought them. He tried to save us, but he didn't come back." His voice broke, and he squeezed Evan's hand harder. "My mom told me to hide, but I couldn't leave her alone." Evan felt a heavy weight inside his chest. This child had lost almost everything, and now he was depending on a stranger, a broken human, on a dying moon. After walking through the glowing forest for several minutes, they reached a small cave hidden under thick vines. Leary stopped at the entrance and whispered, "She's inside." Evan ducked under the vines and stepped into the cave. Inside, he saw an alien woman lying on the ground. Breathing shallowly, her silver skin was covered in scratches, and her long hair was tangled with dirt and blood. Even injured, she had a strong and graceful appearance. But her eyes, when they opened, were full of exhaustion and pain. Leary ran to her and held her hand tightly. "Mom, I brought help," he whispered. The woman's eyes turned toward Evan, and she stared with shock and caution. "A human," she breathed weakly. "Why? Why is a human here?" Evan kneeled beside her carefully. "I crash-landed nearby. Said, your son found me?" The woman tried to sit up, but winced in pain. Leary looked at Evan with desperate eyes. "See? I told you," he whispered loudly. "He can save us. He can protect you. He can be your bondmate." Evan blinked. Confused again? "Bondmate." He repeated. The woman shook her head with difficulty. "Leary, stop. Humans do not know our ways. But Leary shook his head, tears filling his eyes again. If he doesn't bond with you, the hunters will take us. A distant roar echoed through the forest. The cave walls vibrated slightly. The woman's eyes widened with terror. They're coming, she whispered. Evan felt cold fear crawl up his spine as he stood and looked at the entrance. Whatever was hunting them was getting closer fast. And now he understood one thing clearly. He was no longer just a crash survivor. He was standing between a family and death, and the night was not going to wait. The warrior who chose a human, 800 words, simple English. All sentences end with commas. Leo pulled Ryla through the dark forest. Moving as fast as her injured body allowed, the night was cold, and the air carried the metallic smell of war. In the distance, the Varkan search squad spread out. Scanning the area with bright blue lights, Leo stayed low, supporting Ryla with one arm while holding his rifle with the other. Ryla tried to walk on her own, but every step made her wince in pain. Even wounded, she refused to slow him down, a strange pride still burning inside her. They moved between broken trees and smoking ground. Passing the remains of crashed ships, Leo checked his scanner again, and his heart beat faster when he saw a blinking green dot. It was the signal of a hidden human outpost buried under camouflage and shields. If they made it there, she might survive. If they failed, both of them would die before sunrise. Ryla looked at the scanner with confusion. You humans hide your bases so well, she whispered. We have to. Leo replied, Your army outnumbers us. Ryla looked down, ashamed. My people believe strength gives them the right to conquer, she said. But tonight? I saw more strength in mercy than in killing. Leo did not answer, but her words stayed in his mind like an echo. They reached a slope where the ground opened into a narrow trench. Leo jumped down first, then helped Ryla descend. The trench led to a large metal door hidden under thick roots and mud. Leo knocked twice, paused, then knocked again. Using the human military pattern, a small slot opened, and two nervous eyes stared at him. Commander Hart, the voice whispered. We thought you were dead. Not yet, Leo answered, pointing at Ryla. But she will be if we don't get inside. The guard froze, shocked. That's a Varkan, he whispered, sir. We can't let her. Leo cut him off. Open the door, he said firmly. The guard hesitated for a long second, then finally pressed a button. The heavy metal door slid open with a deep rumbling sound inside. Bright white lights revealed a small bunker filled with wounded human soldiers and humming machines. The moment Ryla stepped inside, every soldier pointed a weapon at her. She didn't move, she didn't speak, she didn't even lift her head. Leo raised his hands. Stand down, he said. She's under my protection. The soldiers exchanged confused looks. Unsure whether to obey or panic, Ryla slowly lowered herself to her knees. She placed her hands behind her back, showing she meant no harm. This simple act shocked the humans even more. A Varkan warrior kneeling in surrender was unheard of. The base doctor approached with caution. She needs help or she die, Leo said. The doctor hesitated, then finally nodded. Bring her to the med room, he said. Two soldiers assisted Leo in lifting her onto a stretcher, though their hands shook with fear. Inside the med room, bright lights made Ryla squint. The doctor scanned her wounds. These injuries were made by your own people, Leo said quietly. Ryla nodded. They do not tolerate weakness, she said. When I fell, they left me. Leo felt something twist inside his chest. Anger, maybe, or pity. He couldn't tell. The doctor injected her with a healing serum, and color slowly returned to her skin. Ryla breathed easier for the first time. She looked less like a fierce warrior and more like someone fighting for her own survival. After an hour, she sat up on the med table. Still weak but stable, Leo stood near the door. Watching her carefully, Ryla looked at him with steady eyes. You saved my life twice, she said softly, in my culture. That means something powerful. Leo crossed his arms. What does it mean? He asked. It means my life is tied to yours, she replied. By honor, by choice, and by debt, before Leo could speak. The base commander walked in. Commander Riggs was tall, hard-eyed. and known for never trusting aliens. He looked at Ryla with disgust. "This thing does not belong here," Riggs said. Leo stepped forward. "She surrendered," he said. "And she has information." "What information?" Riggs asked. His voice full of doubt. Ryla lifted her head. "A weapon," she said. "A weapon built by my empire to destroy Earth." The room fell silent. The air felt heavy. Riggs stared at her for several long seconds. Then he turned to Leo. "You really believe a Varkon?" he asked. Leo nodded. "I do," he said, "because she could have killed me. But she didn't." Ryla slid off the med table and knelt in front of Riggs. She bowed her head. "My life is bound to the human who spared me," she said. "Only he may command me." Riggs clenched his jaw in frustration. He didn't like this. But he could not ignore the possibility that she was telling the truth. Finally, he said, "Fine. She lives for now," but then he looked at Leo and added, "Her life is your responsibility." Heart Ryla lifted her head and looked at Leo. Her eyes glowed softly. "I will not fail you," she said. Leo felt the weight of her words. He didn't fully understand her loyalty yet, but he knew one thing. His decision to save her was just the beginning of something much bigger. Outside the bunker, thunder rumbled across the sky. A storm was coming, and so was the truth she carried. The secret that could end Earth. 800 words, simple English. All sentences end with commas. The storm outside the bunker grew stronger through the night. Thunder rolling like distant explosions. Inside, the humans sat around a metal table, staring at the Varkan warrior who now stood among them. Rila felt the pressure of every eye. But she kept her head high. She was wounded. She was tired. But fear no longer controlled her. She had chosen her path. And that path was tied to the human named Leo Hart. Commander Riggs slammed his palm on the table. "Explain this weapon," he demanded. His voice sharp with suspicion. Ryla did not flinch. "The Devourer," she said, her voice steady. "A supership built by the Varkon High Council, capable of destroying a planet with one strike." A wave of shock passed through the room, murmurs rising like a wave. Riggs leaned forward, narrowing his eyes. "And Earth is the target?" he asked. Ryla nodded slowly. "Yes." Within 72 hours, Leo felt his stomach tighten. He knew the Varkon Empire was ruthless, but destroying an entire world was another level of terror. Ryla saw the fear in their faces and continued. "The Devourer is guarded by elite Varkon soldiers. No human ship has ever come close to it. And I was the commander responsible for defending it." Her voice grew quieter, "and yet, I stand here, choosing your side." Riggs crossed his arms. "Why betray your own people?" he asked. "Why help us?" Ryla met his gaze without fear. "Because I saw something powerful in humans," she said. "I saw compassion, even for an enemy. My people worship strength, but they do not understand the strength of mercy." Her eyes moved to Leo. "He saved me when he could have killed me. That choice broke something inside me and opened something else." Leo looked away, unsure how to handle her loyalty, unsure what he had truly awakened in her. Riggs sighed, rubbing his forehead. "What do you need to reach this Devourer?" he asked. Ryla stepped forward. "A team," she said. "A small one. And someone who can move faster than Varkon sensors." Leo raised an eyebrow. "And who would that be?" he asked. Ryla stared at him with a faint smile. "You," she said, causing the whole room to fall silent. Riggs stood up again. "No way," he said. "I won't send my best soldier on a suicide mission because an alien says so." But before anyone could speak again, the bunker lights flickered. A loud alarm echoed through the base. Everyone rushed to the monitors and saw 3 red dots moving toward the bunker. Varkon Scout's Riala's expression darkened. "They found us," she said. "We must move now." Riggs made a choice quickly. "Fine," he said. "Mission team forms in 5 minutes. But if she betrays us, Hart, I'll put a bullet through her skull myself." Ryla didn't react. She simply stepped toward the armory. "I won't betray him," she said quietly. "Or your people." Leo followed her through the narrow bunker hall. She stopped near a table full of weapons and armor. Her fingers brushed lightly over a cracked Varkon shoulder plate. "This belonged to my squad," she said softly. "The same squad that left me to die." Leo watched her silently. "You still care about them?" he asked gently. Ryla shook her head, her silver hair falling around her face. "I care about what they should have been," she said. "Not what they became." She turned and walked toward him, her steps slow but strong. "I will not fail this mission," she said. "Not while your world is in danger, and not while you are in danger." Leo felt her words hit him in a way he didn't expect. He cleared his throat. "We leave soon," he said. "Get ready," as the team gathered at the exit hatch. Ryla approached Leo once more. "There is something more," she said. Leo frowned. "What now?" he asked. Ryla lowered her voice so only he could hear. "There is a traitor among your soldiers," she whispered. "I smelled their fear and guilt when I entered the bunker." Leo stiffened. "Who?" he asked. Ryla shook her head. "I do not know yet," she said, "but they sent a signal. And that is how the Varkon found us so fast." Before Leo could say anything, the hatch opened and cold air rushed in. The mission had begun. The forest outside was dark and alive with danger. The team moved quietly, keeping close, keeping alert. Ryla walked beside Leo, scanning the trees with glowing eyes. As they traveled through the woods, a sudden explosion shook the ground. The team dropped to the soil, weapons aimed forward. A hidden mine had triggered. Someone had set it earlier. Ryla narrowed her eyes. "The traitor walks with us," she whispered. "And they want us dead before we reach the Devourer." Leo felt a chill crawl up his spine. He looked at each soldier, but none revealed any guilt. The mission was already dangerous, but now betrayal made it worse. Ryla stepped closer to him, her voice barely audible. "Trust no one but me," she said. "I will keep you alive." Leo didn't know why, but he believed her. He nodded slowly. Together, they moved deeper into the night, heading toward the Devourer, heading toward the weapon that could end Earth, and heading toward a truth none of them were ready for. The last fight for Tosh. The night was silent as Leo's team moved toward the hidden valley where the Devourer waited. The air felt heavy, almost too still, as if the world knew something terrible was about to happen. Ryla walked beside Leo, her sharp eyes scanning the shadows. Every few minutes, she paused to listen, her instincts sharper than any human sensor. Leo trusted her without question now. But he could not trust the humans walking behind him because the traitor, whoever they were, blended in perfectly with the team. The path narrowed into a rocky canyon, lit only by the pale moonlight. The wind blew dust across the stones, and the team stayed low, moving quietly. Ryla stopped suddenly and raised her hand. Leo froze. Everyone froze. A soft humming sound drifted over the rocks, deep and steady like the heartbeat of a giant creature. Ryla pointed toward the far cliffs. "There," she whispered, and then they saw it, the Devourer. A massive alien supership, shaped like a dark crescent, floating above the ground with slow, terrifying grace. Its energy core glowed red, pulsing like a living thing. Lightning crackled around the base, and towering Varkon guards patrolled the landing platform. The sight made even the bravest human soldiers tremble. Leo exhaled slowly. "We only get one chance," he said. Ryla nodded, her voice steady. "We go inside, reach the core, and destroy it before the weapon charges." Leo looked at his scanner. 25 minutes until the beam reaches full power," he said. There was no time to waste. The team moved in a wide arc, taking cover behind broken rocks as they circled the platform. Suddenly, a clicking sound echoed through the canyon. Ryla spun around. "Get down," she shouted. A blue sniper beam shot through the air, hitting the rock above Leo's head and exploding into sparks. The team dropped to the ground, weapons ready. And that's when the traitor revealed themselves. One of the human soldiers stepped forward, weapon raised toward Leo. His voice shook with fear and anger. "I warned them," he said. "I told the Varkon where you were, and I'll finish the job." Leo stared at him in disbelief. "Why?" Leo asked quietly. The soldier's hands trembled. "They promised protection," he said. "They said Earth would be spared if I helped them." Ryla stepped between Leo and the traitor, her eyes glowing bright with fury. "You fool," she said slowly. "The Devourer will destroy Earth no matter what you were promised." The soldier hesitated. Shock filling his face, Ryla moved with lightning speed, disarming him and forcing him to the ground. Leo tied his hands with combat wire. There was no time for anger, no time for punishment, only time to stop the weapon. The team approached the base of the Devourer. A heavy metal ramp led directly into the ship's interior. 2 Varkon guards blocked the path, tall and strong, armor glowing with blue lines. Ryla stepped forward. "Let me handle this," she said. She challenged them in her language, her voice cold as steel. The guards responded angrily, refusing to let her pass. Then Ryla dropped into a fighting stance. The guards attacked together, but Ryla moved like a storm, her strikes precise and powerful. She knocked one unconscious with a single blow and slammed the other into the metal floor. Leo watched in awe, even wounded. She was the deadliest warrior he had ever seen. Inside the Devourer, the halls were lit with red light, vibrating with the pulse of the weapon. The air felt hot, humming with dangerous energy. Leo led the team through twisting corridors while Ryla guided them from memory. Sparks crackled along the walls as the ship prepared to fire. Leo checked the timer. 10 minutes left, he said. Ryla moved faster, her breathing heavy from pain and effort. At last they reached the core chamber. And waiting inside was the Varkon High Commander, a towering warrior with silver armor and burning yellow eyes. He stared at Ryla with a cold smile. "So this is where you ran to," he said. "You kneel to a human now." Ryla stepped forward. "I kneel to honor," she replied. "Something you forgot long ago." The High Commander raised his blade. "Then you will die as a traitor," he said. "And your human pet will die beside you." Their fight shook the entire core chamber. Metal rang with the clash of blades, sparks flying in every direction. Ryla fought with everything she had, her movements fierce but slowing. Leo ran toward the control console, trying to shut down the weapon. But the system was locked. He needed more time. Ryla stumbled as the High Commander struck her across the chest. She fell to one knee, blood dripping from her lips. The High Commander lifted his blade to finish her. But Leo charged at him, firing a burst from his rifle. The blast hit the commander in the shoulder, making him roar in anger. Ryla used that moment. She swept her leg forward, knocking him off balance. Then she drove her blade into his armor with a final cry. The High Commander collapsed, the chamber shaking around them. Leo rushed to Ryla. "Are you okay?" he asked. Breathless, she nodded weakly. "I am alive because of you," she whispered. "And because of the choice you made." Leo turned back to the console. "Can you override the core?" he asked. Ryla placed her hand on the glowing panel. Blue energy lit up under her touch. "Yes," she said softly. "But the blast will destroy the ship." Leo hesitated only a second. "Do it," he said, "for Earth." Ryla closed her eyes and activated the overload. The core began to scream with rising energy. The team ran back through the halls as alarms blared. The Devourer shook violently, flames bursting from the walls. At the exit ramp, the ship began to collapse. Leo grabbed Ryla's arm as the floor tilted under them. They leaped from the ramp just as a massive explosion lit up the sky. The Devourer broke apart in a shower of fire and metal. The sound echoed like thunder across the valley. Ryla lay on the ground, breathing hard. Leo knelt beside her. "You saved my world," he said quietly. Ryla looked at him with tired but bright eyes. "And you saved me long before that," she whispered. "My life is yours, human." Not because of debt, but because of choice. Leo helped her sit up as fire lit the night sky. The war was not over, but tonight, Earth still lived. And humanity had gained something new: a warrior who once vowed to destroy them, now standing as their strongest ally.